We've been very fortunate that we've been able to eat fresh veggies from this 1-year-old permaculture garden throughout the winter, and especially the last few weeks we've only been eating fresh leafy greens from this small little patch that you can see in front of me. And in this video I want to share some of the crops and some of the plants that have proven to be absolute winners in this context. Right, so before I dive into the specific plants, I want to share a bit of the context first. In front of me you can see a lemongrass, and this is kind of, to me, the signal of what this piece of land has been enduring throughout the winter. Relatively sunny days, some rainy days of course as well, and the only thing that we get is nighttime frosts that don't really go down below -2, -3, something like that. And you can see the lemongrass really struggles with it. The leaves have become quite red and there's very little greenness that you can see, although the plant is still alive. And then if we compare that to this lemongrass, which was sheltered by the abundance of fennel around it, find the lemongrass, you score 10 points. There it is, lots of greenness and looking a lot more vibrant and healthy, although the outer leaves that weren't protected by the fennel still got the frosts. But I guess you get the general message. So relatively mild days above freezing, and then nighttime frosts in the evening, which allows for quite a few plants to thrive and to survive the winter, allowing us to eat heaps of greens. So first up we have silverbeet, of course, and many different varieties of it. We have red ones, green ones, and different pink striped one I believe as well, and these were all planted throughout the season and have overwintered. Another one that I'd hope would make a nice border plant is Perennial Rocket, and so far it's definitely living up to my expectations. It does shoot into flower, but the flower heads are edible, the flowers are edible, and even when it has gone to flower, it doesn't become extremely bitter. Closely related to the rocket is the Mizuna, which you can see here, and this one is also definitely ready for spring, sending out heaps of flowers, and the flowers are edible, and it has kind of a bitterness to it as the rocket does, so I wouldn't make it a base for the salad, but definitely in addition to the salad. However, the miner's lettuce, which is right next to it, is definitely a base of the salad, and I would say one of the favorite ones, one of my favorite greens of all times. It's a rather thick leaf, but it gives it a nice bite, a very mild flavor. And be aware though, once you have it in your garden, you'll probably never get rid of it. Bok choy, also definitely in spring mode, sending up flowers, planted right before the winter, somewhere in the autumn time. Another contender for the beautiful border plant prize is parsley, and besides the rocket, I think this is definitely one of the winners. I used to think that parsley was just one of those things that you used as a garnish every once in a while, but since we have such an abundance of parsley and it just keeps on growing and giving, we've started to learn to work with it in many different ways, and there's no salad that we eat without parsley nowadays. Close to the parsley is this red-veined sorrel, and I'd say sorrels are definitely a must-have in any permaculture garden, or any garden to be honest. This is a red veined variety. We also have the regular variety. Adds a bit of a lemony tang to the salads or anything that you eat. In anticipation of spring, I also planted some broad beans at the beginning of the winter, and they have definitely shown that they're ready for the next season. Heaps of flowers, and they definitely can handle a few degrees of frost and still manage to survive. And well, as you can see, hopefully we'll get a good crop of those. Of course, we can't forget the beautiful, wonderful kale in all kinds of shapes and colors. The curly kale. We also have the purple kale, which I think are just amazing plants because they're very hardy, very versatile, very resilient, and you can grow them anywhere. One plant that I had experience with before is the New Zealand spinach, which all of this is New Zealand spinach with the exception of that one. There's a few marigolds popping up, which are also, of course, medicinal and edible. But the New Zealand spinach is an absolute winner for me because it just creeps and spreads everywhere. And I would have thought it would not have had survived the frost that we get over here, but it did. You can see there's a bit of frost damage on some of the leaves and it struggles a bit, but there's also heaps of new growth, and we've been slowly plucking and eating away at this plant weekly, and there's no sign of it stopping, and hopefully it'll set seed and then just self-spread throughout this garden. Then the final plant for today is the Sowthistle, or at least one of the varieties. I'm not sure which one this is, which is a very valuable plant. Most people would consider this definitely a weed. It's not the case for us. We enjoy it, and it's an absolutely delicious plant. We actively spread it because we can't get enough of it, and as you can see, it is very welcome between the kales that we introduced, and this Sowthistle introduced itself, and it's more than welcome to stay, and definitely an underrated plant. Right, I probably forgot a few plants that I wanted to share, but I guess this is fine for now. The list of plants, possible plants, of course, is always endless, and as is important to remember with permaculture, it is very much bound to location and specific circumstances and learning to work with the land that you want to work with. But either way, I hope I shared some inspiration for plants that work with, are worthwhile having in a climate where the nighttime winter temperatures don't go below a few degrees below freezing. And this is a good list to start with, a few of the plants to start with, and you know, maybe it gives you some food for thought. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.